Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. This video is going to be a summary of all the tea that Reid spilled on Trisha Paytas' podcast, Just Trish. Let's get into it. Reid talks about why she likes doing podcasts, and that's because people get to see a completely different side to her than they do in her adult videos, where it's a bit more like reading a script. They talk about their past adult collaboration on OF, which I'm sure I've reacted to at some point on this channel, particularly the Powerpuff Girls themed shoots. Reid shared that she enjoyed working with Trisha in a more casual setting, away from traditional P sets. Trisha praised Reid's influence during the era of women taking control of their bodies and content in the industry and making the transition into OF and self-producing their shoots. Reid talks about her transition to platforms like OF, noting that it gained popularity during the decline of private Snapchats. Trisha asks how creating adult content has been since becoming a mother. Reid says that she misses the way that she would shoot beforehand, actually. She would do these 16-hour shoots with full-on production happening, which she wants to get back into, but now she's doing a lot of iPhone videos and more casual content. Trisha asks if Reid will ever retire just because she's been in the industry since she was 19, or if she would transition in doing MILF roles. Reid says that she'll probably want to go into helping other girls at some point, just because she has now even reached a point where she's becoming insecure about the way that she looks as she's aging. They talk about Reid's daughter being Latvian and how she's learning Russian because of that. She's also raising her daughter to learn 4 languages, which I'm so jealous. Like, that's really the time to learn. Trisha asks if she'd ever move to Latvia, and Reid said probably not. Trisha asks why Reid hid her pregnancy from the world, and she literally told people about it like 3 months after she had a baby. Reid said that she didn't tell the internet because people can just be really hateful online, and also because she had a miscarriage before, which breaks my heart.
People are just mean and like vicious. And so like now I just don't even post her face. I like archived all of the photos of her face. I don't want to like bring her up and like these people just not being nice to her and stuff. So it's like we like show her, but like just like not her face to protect like her and her own personal identity. Because I was like sadly, like most of my fans just are not as nice as I would like them to be.
Reid said that it's really sad she doesn't get to post about her life on Instagram, which is not an adult site unlike OF or her Twitter, where she advertises her OF, but other people can do it just fine. They move on to talk about other projects that Reid is involved in, like she's training an AI of her that can talk to her fans.
Things like I was like, we need to make sure the AI doesn't encourage like self-harm, because like I know some guys want to stick things in their penis holes, but I was like, my AI is not going to encourage any weird sexual mutilation.
And the goal of the AI is companionship of all types. Reid's thing is to just be ahead of the curve, just because the future of adult content is going to be AI generated, and that's what's going to happen, and she just wants to be involved in it. She then talks about how she got taken advantage of in her earlier years in the industry by her own boyfriend, who was a prominent figure in the industry. He sort of got her up and running in this line of work and helped her develop her website and everything, taking 50% of the proceeds. The relationship finally deteriorated, and he wouldn't give her her domain name, ReidLeeReid.com.
And I remember being like so upset because like I didn't ever ask him to do the website for me or anything. He was like, do you want to do a website? And I was like, yeah, let's do it.
Oh my God.
And so he just totally took advantage of me.
So she didn't pay him an ounce for the name and created ReadMyLips.com, which is just so clever. And she went public saying ReidLeeReid.com is not hers at all. I just now also realized just how smart she is. Like, even then when she was developing her website, she would use tools that weren't necessarily targeted for porn because porn people take the highest percentages. So she would use a broadcasting tool that was technically used for sports and integrate it into her website and use the cheapest third-party payment processors.
I was like, I'm doing my website and I'm going to find ways to make the costs less. And like, I found all these other little small websites and they were like excited to work with me. So it worked out. And then eventually I grew and I found my way.
Like, wow, I'm very impressed over here. I'm so glad she found her way ultimately, and she was so fortunate, because the unfortunate reality is that most women in the adult entertainment industry do get taken advantage of and get paid dirt low amounts of money for content that makes income in perpetuity for the P-word companies. She also has her marketing agency, Ash Agency, that helps with brand deals and revenue streams for girls. She has a clothing line as well, which she sort of regrets getting into just because it's such a hard industry to break into and has such high startup costs. Trisha asks how she met her husband, and Riley said that she actually slid into his DMs on Instagram. She initially asked to collab, and they just happened to have this amazing chemistry. And then apparently Riley is the one who proposed to him eventually, which is just so cute. Trisha asks what he thinks about her doing OnlyFans. Riley said that he's actually the only guy that she's been with that hasn't asked her to stop. She did retire from doing boy-girl scenes from 2 years before she even met him though, just because she knew that she wanted to settle down with a man, and men can be insecure. Trisha pivots into what we're all waiting for, David Dobrik. So as you may know, Riley used to appear in some of David's vlogs back in the day. It started from her appearing on Logan's podcast, which she didn't even know him at the time, but she just saw that he had a lot of followers, so she went on the podcast. And David saw her on that podcast, and that's when he asked her to be on the vlogs. And Riley sort of attributes her mainstream success to those experiences as well. She says that she did eventually become friends with Logan, but never David. And it was more just a business move with him. She said this about Logan and his friend group.
There were certain things that I really liked about them. And like, I love that like Logan just made me feel like one of the boys, which I thought was really cool. Like he never like made me feel like some like weird girl, because like there were so many girls who were just obsessed with him.
Right, yeah.
Trisha says that she's surprised Riley likes hanging out with guys as much after having hung out with some really bad groups, which I'm pretty sure she means the Vlog Squad. Riley responds,
I don't want all men to be punished for the shitty ones, because some women are crazy and horrible.
That's true,
and if they ruined the name for us, that would suck. And so like there's just like so many men in my life who've helped shape me into where I am and have helped support me. I don't love the whole like man hater vibe, but I can feel you, because like
I'm a man hater right now, but I like that.
I feel you,
I need to change it. You might be right on that.
Riley says she's not really friends with many men, but she does like to do business with them. Trisha says that she hasn't actually had good experiences with men in business because they tend to treat her like she's dumb.
I think because you're so, not like aggressive, but you're just like, you're very confident in what you know. And I think maybe that's why they respect you more. I'm very much, I don't know anything about anything.
Riley says she's never met a man be like, I don't want to work with a woman, but she's absolutely seen the opposite quite a few times with women, and she doesn't like that attitude.
Usually if a woman tells me that, I don't want to do business with her, because I was like, you make it a rocky business partnership if we want to do business with men.
Right.
It makes it weird.
Yeah, they must have like trauma. Like I feel like my thing just comes from trauma. And so like I punish everybody because of one.
And I do agree with Trisha on this one. Obviously, you can't be like, I'm never working with a man when you're working on a team and make everything difficult for everyone. But it's valid to have a preference. I mean, especially when you have overwhelmingly negative experiences with men, or as Trisha mentions, trauma from working with men. I think a lot of people, especially in the adult industry, can resonate with that. So it's appalling to me that Riley doesn't see that. But then she does sort of support Trisha's disdain for men a bit.
You have an instinct for a reason. You have a gut and an intuition for a reason. So like, I feel like that exists there to protect you. And, you know, we are women. We are prey at the end of the day. Like, we don't walk alone at night for a reason.
Exactly.
Trisha asks if people were upset when she got married, and Riley says not so much upset as just mean to her husband.
I'm a hallway, and you know, I'm so loose, and I've had so many men run through me, and like he's kissed a bunch of dudes because he kisses me.
Oh my God.
You know, all that stupid 12-year-old me.
But Riley's husband, being a parkour guy and acting in movies as a stuntman, mostly is great to her because she sort of wants her daughter to mostly look at his career rather than hers.
So I can be like, look at Papa!
Right.
Look at Papa in his movie!
It sounds like he's doing that.
Look at his Red Bull stuff!
They talk about parenting for a bit, and Riley says that it's actually been easier than she thought it would be. She talks about her birthing experience. She really wanted to have a home birth, and she was all set to have one, but it was just taking so long, the entire labor process, that she eventually had to go to the hospital and have a C-section. Trisha talks about her discomfort with having done adult content now that she's a mom, especially after having her baby, knowing that some people have a fetish for C-section scars, which just makes it uncomfortable for them. She asks Riley if she did any adult content while she was pregnant. Riley responds saying no, but she did do some girl-on-girl stuff, but anything that she did was sort of in baggy clothes to avoid selling the fact that she was pregnant. Trisha says that she did take news pregnancy because she thought her body was beautiful. Riley agreed, and she did do a nude pregnancy shoot, but she didn't want to share them because of the way that it'll be naturally construed due to her job. They talk about children of adult stars potentially being bullied in school. Riley says the only reason that would happen is because of the parents, because why else would a child know about her job?
Why would a child know me for anything other than Emma's mom? That's the only thing that they should know me as.
Yeah.
So if a child has any further information, that is because of the parents' fault, and that was poor parenting.
Yeah.
So in the end, it results in falls down to poor parenting, not to my child or my decisions in life.
Riley says this is actually why she and her husband have discussed having more children, so that they have another human being who can relate to them on some of these things. Trisha asks if Riley is close to her own family. Riley says her dad is in Georgia right now, so they don't see each other too much. They grew apart for a few years when she first got into adult content, and they wouldn't believe that she was actually doing okay, and she was willingly doing that kind of work and actually doing quite well. But yeah, just because her family lives quite far now, they're not as involved with raising her daughter as she would like them to be, but they have like hour-long phone calls now, and they're much closer. They talk about some other things like trying to arrange a play date with their daughters, and also how Riley intends on selling her adult content forever past even her death and having her daughter reap the profits from that, and Trisha should do that too. And that's pretty much it for that episode. The response to this episode is overwhelmingly positive in the comments. Most people are praising Trisha for her interviewing skills and her ability to keep up the conversation. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Please make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel if you enjoyed watching. And for now, here is some eye bleach.